Our first endpoint is the root endpoint, typically used for landing pages or basic documentation. This asynchronous function serves an HTML response efficiently, even with multiple requests. Next is the search endpoint, where the magic happens. It handles user queries, fetches results from Solr, and returns them dynamically in HTML. This setup enables features like full text search, highlighting, and pagination. So to enable user interaction, add a search form in HTML just like this. This form captures search terms and sends them to the API. Make result pop with highlighting. Use Solr's built-in highlight features to emphasize matching terms in results. The highlighted text will be wrapped in EM tags, making it easy to style and identify. Handle large data sets with pagination. This breaks results into smaller manageable chunks. Add navigation links for a seamless user experience. Now let us jump into the code. The first thing to do here is to create a root directory for this project. To create the root directory, use the following command. You can name it anything, but I'm going to name it Solr search. Then the next thing to do is to create a virtual environment. Create a virtual environment, run the following command. Then activate the virtual environment. Next thing to do is to install the necessary dependencies. We're going to install the required dependencies for this project. The two dependencies we are going to install is PySolr and FastAPI. PySolr is a library to connect with Apache Solr, which we use to connect to Solr to perform queries in our application. And likewise, we are going to use FastAPI. FastAPI is a modern web framework for building APIs. The first thing to do is to install FastAPI. You can see that we've successfully installed FastAPI. Now, let us install PySolr, which we are going to use to connect to Solr in performing queries. Now we successfully installed PySolr. Let's create a folder named app in a root directory. Then we will create an app file inside the app folder. Let's open our Visual Studio Code. You can see we have the app file inside the app directory. Now the first thing to do is to import the necessary libraries we're going to use in our project. We import FastAPI, which is a modern web framework for building APIs. We import HTML response here, which will help us to return HTML content directly from our API. The next thing to do is to configure our Solr connection. Now let's import PySolr. Let's connect our FastAPI instance. We successfully configure our Solr connection. We use PySolr library to connect with Apache Solr. Make sure you replace the search core with your core name in Solr. Declare our search function. We paste our HTML code. This form allows users to input a query and submit it for processing. The get method used here is a root route which serves the home page. And we include a form where user can enter search queries. Then the form submits the query to the search route. Next, we are going to define a query for Solr using the search term, which with the highlight results and format them into a user-friendly display. This query captures the user search inputs. The minimum length was set to 3 and the maximum length was set to 50, which restricts the length of the inputs. And we show 10 results per page starting from the correct index. This search for both title and content. The query search for both title and content. The HL which is the highlight, enables highlighting to emphasize matches, and the stats and rows controls pagination, while the FL specify which feeds to return, executes the search and retrieve results. We've pasted our HTML code, as you can see. So this displays the query's results dynamically. It iterates through results, access title and content fields for each document. After including our HTML code, we now included this query to process the results, and also this to apply highlighting to the query. This block of code processes the results by displaying the query results dynamically. It iterates through the results, access title and content feeds for each document, then undo missing feed gracefully with default text. We also include pagination. This creates links for navigating to previous and next pages if applicable. Now that we've successfully implemented all functions, let's run our code. Use the following command to run the code: fast API dev spy. You can see that our code is running successfully and the server starts at port 8000. Now let's go and view on browser. Here's our home page, a clean and simple search interface. Let's enter a search term. For instance, let's search Python. We search for Python. You can see it's been highlighted and it's also emphasized. Click the next page button, which is working. You can see back to the previous, next, then previous. Yes, perfect. With Solr, you get advanced search capabilities like filtering, boosting, and highlighting out of the box. Fast API's async capabilities ensure that our search engine handles high traffic without breaking a sweat. Our app dynamically highlights relevant sections, making results easy to read and navigate. And there you have it. A fully functioning search engine built with Fast API and Solr. Whether you are a seasoned developer or just getting started, this project is a fantastic way to learn about such technologies and backend design. Let us go through some of the benefits of pagination and why it is a must-have in your applications. First up, improved performance. Imagine a situation where your application needs to display hundreds or even thousands of records. Loading all of that data at once, not a good idea. With pagination, your app loads smaller, more manageable chunks of data. This reduces server load, minimizes bandwidth usage, and drastically improves speed. The result, a faster and smooth experience for your users. Next, let us talk about better user experience. Think about it. When users visit your app, they don't want to scroll endlessly through a mountain of data. Pagination lets them navigate effortlessly through the content, one page at a time. This keeps your interface clean and organized, ensuring users find what they need without feeling overwhelmed. And finally, scalability. As your app grows, so does your data. Handling large data sets efficiently can become a challenge, but not with pagination. Pagination ensures your application can scale gracefully, avoiding performance bottlenecks. Whether you are dealing with a few hundred records or millions, your app remains robust and reliable. To recap, pagination brings improved performance, a better user experience, and scalability to your application. It is a simple yet powerful tool every developer should master. Keep your index clean with this command to delete outdated documents. This ensures optimal performance by preventing index bloat. So what exactly is Solr Core? A Solr Core is essentially an independent instance within a Solr server. Each core has its own index, schema, and configuration, which means you can manage separate data sets independently. Think of it as running multiple databases under one roof, each tailored to a specific purpose or data set. Now, let us move on to the Solr query URL. as you can see on the screen. Here is how it breaks down. The base URL is typically localhost 800983 is the address of your Solr server. The select endpoint is used to fetch search results. But the magic happens with the parameters. Here are some examples as shown on the screen. Indent true. This makes the response more readable. Likewise, which sets the default query operator to OR. Then which retrieves our document. That is a query for column encoded for the URL. And for those who like efficiency, Solr also supports use params for managing query parameters dynamically. Curious about viewing search results? Once you craft your query, simply paste the localhost URL into your browser. The results will be displayed in a readable format thanks to the indent true parameter. This is a great way to test and debug your queries as you fine-tune your search functionalities. To wrap up, full text search is essential for applications that demand precision and accuracy. With Apache Solr, you have a reliable and scalable platform for building robust search features. And when you pair it with Python and Fast API, you get unmatched flexibility and ease of development. Whether you're managing small datasets or massive amounts of data, Solr is up for the challenge. That is a quick dive into Solr core queries URL and viewing search results. If this video helped you understand Solr a bit better, don't forget to like, subscribe and hit the bell icon for more content like this. Have questions about Solr or ID for future videos? Drop them in the comments below. I do love to hear from you. Thanks for watching and I will see you in the next one.